Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield ship review video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Hulker. Now, it doesn't have a tier to it, and it's quite tricky to find, much like the sloop and some of the other vessels I've showcased. You can't buy this vessel, nobody sells it, and you can't, basically the only way to get it is by either coming across it in orbit, in space, which is kind of rare, and then stealing it, which again will incur some penalties. Or you can get extremely lucky and it lands on a planet and then you can just take it. Now, if it lands on a planet and you take it, sometimes it won't have a crew and you can just like grab it willy-nilly, but sometimes it will have a crew and you'll have to kind of do piracy stuff. But anyway, getting into the review, it's made up of a lot of different pieces, like a lot of different pieces. It's meant to be like a hauling vessel, which it does quite admirably, if I say so myself. So it's got a, if we look at the stats, it's got a fuel of 50, which is extremely low. Like, that's way too low. There's the fuel tank on the bottom. We could definitely improve that pretty easily. It's got a hull of 479, which isn't too bad for an A-class vessel. Obviously, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's got a cargo capacity of 1100, which, again, that's pretty nice. This is the sort of ship where if you did come across it early on, I'd recommend swapping it out for the Frontier, just because this is like, there's a lot more going on with it. So it's got an A-class reactor with 18 power. It's rocking the Tokamak's reactor there at the bottom. You can just see that. Now, 18 power, this kind of leaves a lot to be desired, to be honest. But we can work on improving it. It's got a crew of 2, which again is quite low, but again, you can improve it if you swap out some of the modules, some of the habitats. It's got a jump range of 21 light years, which isn't bad. It's kind of in the middle of the park. Its shield is only 155, which is really weak. Like, I would recommend improving that shield immediately. You're not doing much with that shield. And then it's got a set of singular laser weapon mounted under that port wing there, and then it's got a missile launcher mounted on the starboard lower wing. So like I was saying, you can't purchase this vessel. I've just found it and then sold it so I could see the stats unmodified. So we're going to go purchase it real quick. So here it is here. As you can see, it's quite long. It's an interesting looking vessel. I think the having those like Deimos winglets kind of help bring out the shape of it a little bit. So it's pretty cool looking ship. Like I was saying, if you came across this early on in your like playthrough, and you could kind of acquire it without, you know, murdering too many people, I'd recommend going for it because the extra cargo is pretty nice. And we've a little bit more room to play around with it. So there's the reactor there, and there's the abysmal cargo, or fuel tank. We got Deimos entryway, pretty nice. It's rear facing, which some people might like. I personally don't mind rear facing, but I like front facing more so. Although it gives me Pelican vibes in the rear. So up we climb into it. So immediately we are in a 1x1 storage room. I believe this is Shroud Eklund, I believe. And then we'll go up one more level here, and we have another 1x1 storage room, and we have the docking bay up above. And if we go through this room here, we have a...
Ahoy, Captain!
Hello there. We have a living quarters here, or it might be an all-in-one berth. Who knows? I'll find out when I do a teardown. So we got a working galley. Got a chair there, some storage, or some seating. And we've got these like 2 double bunk beds. Pretty nice. Shroud Eklund. Pretty comfy. And then we have a toilet so you can do your business. What was that? That was weird. I don't know what that was. Now if we head back down to the original floor, we have a workstation, which is very nice. This is the sort of, and this workstation has all 4. So we've got our weapon workbench, our industrial workbench, spacesuit workbench, and then our research lab. This is the one, when I've done videos on workbenches or workstations in the past, I was always trying to figure out which one has all 4, or like 4 out of 5. And this Shroud Eklund seems to be the one. Yeah, this is quite good. Like, getting this ship Like, obviously, the extra cargo capacity and stuff would be really nice, but having this workshop at the bottom, it just makes your playthrough a lot easier, because you can, when you're, like, early game, you're not really going to be focusing on specific weapons. You're going to be kind of using whatever you can get your hands on, and it's nice to be able to customize them. And then we have the Tayo Bridge. As I've said many times, a really nice looking bridge, really cool. Only real issue is these chairs. I don't like them in general. I don't like having chairs without like workstations near them, because it allows the crew to talk your ears off. And also, it feels like you're a chauffeur more so than like this is your ship. I thought it'd be cool if they added some like L-shaped like corner couches there, just for for the niceness. But anyway, we're gonna take her up in orbit, see how she performs, and then we'll do a teardown. So let's take off. So, as always, I have a perk that increases my power by 5. So for the sake of this video, we're not going to be using 5 power. It kind of slightly gives the vibe of, like, you see those, like, minivans with, like, the extra storage on top, what are they called? Well, they have little storage thing on top. It kind of looks like that a little bit. So weapon-wise, we have a single laser weapon mounted on the port side, and then we have missiles mounted on the starboard side. Yeah, so it's pretty decent. So, speed test. Base speed, if it's going to be 150. Yeah, 150, which is nice, very acceptable. Boost speed of almost 600, 590 again. That's pretty respectable. We do a quick agility test. Ooh, this is kind of slow. Mobility, not the best. Okay, yeah, that's like a 4. I'm assuming the mobility is low because this is carrying a lot of heavy stuff. And then, yeah, that's, again, that mobility is extremely low. And then we've got a roll. Roll's not too bad. Alright, we're going to head back down to the surface now and do a teardown. Alright, so we've got this torn down into 3 sections. So on the top here, we have the Shroud all-in-one berth 2x1A, and then behind it we have a Shroud companionway 1x1, and we have an extended port docker 200 top. Now, just going off of the modules down here, what I'd probably recommend doing is I'd potentially swap this out for a Shroud control room, just for the extra crew. So if we did swap that to a control room, it would bring us up to 3. Okay, that's maybe probably not worth it then. Yeah, it's just a bit low. So we have underneath here, we have the Dragon 22-1P megawatt pulse laser from Horizon Defense. A class, 1200 range, 6.65 fire rate, 3 hull and 9 shield damage. And then we have these cargo containers. We've got 4 of these Stormax 30 cargo holds. They give 210. So altogether we get 840, which isn't bad. Now, you can improve on this if you wanted to. So there is better ones. Let me show you. So we have the Stormax 60. These are the red ones. Now, they basically double your cargo capacity. So what you could do is you could basically substitute them out, and you'd be effectively like doubling the capacity. Now, obviously, your mobility is going to drop massively. Yeah, your mobility goes to like 26, so that's a bit... Some people might not like that. Being a cargo vessel, I don't really mind it necessarily. Ooh. Ignore that. For some reason, my phone just went crazy. I don't know if you could pick up that. So yeah, and then we have the R2000 Alpha Grav Drive from Relodyne, A class, 9 max power. It's 20 jump grab thrust, which in the current configuration gives us 21. Now we can obviously improve upon that real quick if we go to the grav drive. I usually recommend this one here. R4000 grav drive, A class, 9 power as opposed to, same power, and then it gives 27 instead of 20, which brings up to 29 light years if we use this one. Now this costs us probably around 13k without perks, and requires Starter Design 2. Just keep in mind. And then this shield, this is a really, really abysmal shield. For some reason, the stats of the shield were lower in the menu, weirdly. So the base shield it's A class, 4 max power, gives 390, which isn't that bad, but obviously we could improve upon that. So if we go to our shields, so obviously you can go the route of this bad boy here. We've got the 6S protector shield generator, A class, 8 power, 810 shield health, and it costs around 20k without perks, and it requires Starship Design 4, which is, yeah, it's a bit pricey, but it's pretty decent. Now, for the aesthetic pieces, we have this Hope Tech Nose 4. Let me just put that with the shield back. We've got the Hope Tech Nose B4 here. We've got 2 of these Deimos Wing D, port and starboard. And then that's it for this section. So in the middle here, we have the Dymo Enhanced Cockpit, 260 cargo, and 2 crew. This is from Tayo. Behind that, we have the Stroud Workshop 2x1. Pretty nice. And then we have a Stroud Companionway 1x1. We also have this Deimos Hull A. Now, something that's kind of a bit weird is you don't really need this setup. So what I probably recommend doing is we don't have another Stroud one, but if we did, we'll use this Nova Galactic. It's kind of a, So you could put this here, and then if you wanted to, say for instance, you wanted a, I don't know, if you wanted to put an armory, you could put an armory. If you wanted to put captain's quarters, you put captain's quarters. You can basically put whatever you want here, but I would recommend swapping it out, just because you get a little bit more space out of it. Because like in the current configuration, as you can see here, like this hull is kind of pointless. It doesn't even give you any hull, weirdly, whereas these do actually give you hull of 5. So yeah, I'd recommend doing that. And then for the weapons mounted underneath this winglet here, we have an Atlatl 270A missile launcher from Lightsight, A class, 4800 range, 1 fire rate, 49.34 damage to shield and hull, and 3 power. Then we've got 2 of these NG-15 landing gear, starboard and port. And then we have 2 of these Ares DT-40 engines from Panoptes, A class, 2 power, 10,800 engine thrust, 2,200 maneuvering thrust. Now, obviously, we can improve upon that, as they're not using the best engines. So you can go all the way up to 60, so basically improving it by 20 performance. So we get 14,000 engine thrust, so we're basically increasing the engine thrust by 3,200. And then the maneuvering thrust goes up to 2,600. So in the current config, we're getting 53 mobility, whereas if we were to put on 2 of these bad boys, mobility jumps to 72, so a little bit extra. Pretty nice. And then for the aesthetic pieces, we just have 2 of these Deimos, wing, port, and starboard. Now at the bottom here, we have the 120 LD landing bay from Deimos. We have the Tokamaks X100 reactor from Xi'an, A-class, 18 power. Now, this is quite low. Now, if you want to stick with the Tokamaks reactor because you like the styling, I think you can get up to like 26 or 28, I believe. But if you want the best reactor, you get one of these bad boys, and we can strap them in its place of it. There it is there, like so. Obviously, you can't snap it there. You have to snap it underneath. And then we have this pitiful M10 Ulysses Helium-3 tank, 50 grav jump fuel, which is not a vibe. So I would recommend going this go to 210. So we're increasing the weight by about 60%, but we're getting well over 4 times the fuel. So we just pop this out in this place. And then we have the NG-20 landing gear 4 from Nova Galactic. Gives 4 landing thrusts, which is really nice. Now we're going to put the ship back together and do some quick modifications just to kind of showcase. So one of the first things we'll do is we're going to put the we're going to get the grav drive, slap that grav drive up here. No, not yet. What's going on here? I'm confused. How am I? Oh, okay, that was weird. I was like moving it, but it wasn't actually saying the stats. So we'll slap this on here. And then for the shield, we're going to go with the shield I was mentioning. This is kind of a staple in the shield. And then we're going to remove this here. We're going to put a better reactor and better, come on. Oh, that might be problematic. Give me a moment. See if it'll work. We put the fuel tank in first. I really like this fuel tank, 500T. And we have no errors. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to swap out the engines. We're going to increase the engine a little bit. We're going to pump them up to this level. so. Now for the cargo, like I was saying with the cargo, if you wanted to increase your cargo, which this is like kind of like a cargo vessel, so I'd be focusing more on getting the cargo up than anything else. Now she's gonna get very heavy, just like fair warning. Now you can even increase the car. Oh, why you don't want to go there? What's the issue? Ah, yeah, okay, that's. You can do the merge here, obviously, if you wanted to. Now some people might not like that merge. Yeah, so if you wanted to put this here, you just basically flip it back, and then let go of it, and then it is there, but sometimes you have to fiddle with it. Now that's if you want to. You don't have to do that, you know. Like, we got 2,000 cargo currently. Now for weapons, I'm going to go the route I usually go with weapons. We're going to be using, just because it's just simple, you know. So if you've done the Vanguard questline, which if you haven't, I highly recommend it, because you can make use of these Vanguard Obliterator projectors. A-class, 3600 range, 6.65 fire rate, and 11 hull and shield damage, and only 2 power. Whereas if you haven't done the Vanguard questline, for like whatever reason, we can go with these PB-30 electron beams. Now they're slightly worse in terms of stats, but you know, they get the job done. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna strap 4 of these here, like so. So we're gonna put them underneath, just because I feel like they look nicer underneath. They're like hidden. And then we're gonna add 2 more here. Come on. So that gives us like 4, which these weapons are more than enough to get the job done. Now, obviously, we still have some hard points there. So if you wanted to, say, for instance, add more, you definitely could. Like, for instance, if you wanted to add them above, you could just do the little duplication technique and duplicate them up there if you wanted to. But these are pretty overkill as is, you know. Like, they'll 100% get the job done. Now, there's not really much else you can, like, add to this vessel. Like I was saying at the bottom here, you could obviously, if we were to, let's say we delete this, and we just put in, just for the sake of it, let's say we want to put in a... This is in place of, obviously, a shroud one. We'll put an armory. Let's say you want armory on your vessel, so we'll slap this in here. And there you go, like so. Now, as you can see, engine's a bit light. Now, if you wanted to, I've showed this a couple times, you can do the duplication technique here, the merge. Now, this would allow us to increase our mobility to 83. And there is some clipping, but trust me, there's no effect to the game whatsoever, and it looks pretty like normal when you're flying it. And that gives you like a little bit more bang for your buck. And then what you could probably do, if you are going that route, and let's say you want more cargo capacity, we could definitely improve the cargo a little bit. So let me see what we have to play around with. Get some of these bad boys, and we could like strap them here. And then strap them the other side. 2,800. Obviously, you could put them there too. You can basically make this like, yeah, very, very heavy. But like 3,000, almost 4K cargo on a little vest like this is very nice. Yeah, that's pretty much like the ship. Like I said, it's a hard ship to acquire, but if you do acquire it, it could really help you early game, especially when you're trying to carry stuff. Like if you don't have enough money to, like, say, buy a new ship, or if you do, you're kind of uncertain. So if you are looking to get this ship, probably one of the best ways would be to land on Jameson, on the planet, and just not at New Atlantis, just land on Jameson. And then just exit your ship, and when you like leave your ship for the first time on a planet, an autosave will pop up, and just wait to see if a ship flies overhead. If it doesn't, reload your autosave, and then just keep going like that until you get it. Now, it could take you some time, just be warned. I know when I was looking for another ship, it took me like 2 hours of doing it, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you guys think of this ship. Have any of you guys flown it? If you have flown it, what way have you kind of configured it? And also, if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.